Hi guys, 18dap here and welcome to the final match day preview of the regular season. It is Gillingham against Doncaster Rovers in League 2. Let's get the video started. So guys, welcome to the final regular match day preview of the season. It's Doncaster travelling down to Gillingham on the final day of the season, and it's lined up to be a pretty decent day for the Rovers fans, all being well. But if you're an existing subscriber, thank you so much for supporting the channel and continuing to do so. We're over 3,400 now, flying towards 3,500, so a big thank you for that. If you enjoy this sort of content and you're new to the channel, please consider clicking subscribe so you don't miss any future content. And if you are new, this is a format that we go through match previews, look at previous meetings between the two clubs, current form across all competitions. I choose a Doncaster Rovers player to say a few words about, and then I do the same with Gillingham. But as I always say, you know your club much better than I do, so if there's somebody else who should be in that conversation at that point, get them in the comments down below. And then we finish the video with three predictions: the predicted team lineup thanks to FanHub, the predictions league table, which is getting ever so tight now, and then the final score prediction of the regular season at the very end. So without further ado, let's get into previous meetings. And it's not good reading for Rovers fans. Gillingham have got massively the better of us over our history, with 37 wins out of the 73 times we've met, 20 draws and only 16 wins for the Rovers. So the omen isn't good on this one coming into the fixture tomorrow. And also looking at the more recent five, Gillingham had the edge with 3 wins in those 5, Rovers with 2. So we go back to 21-22 season in League 1, and we shared the we didn't share the spoils, we got the double done over, as it was 2 1-0 defeats in League 1 away and at home. We shared the spoils in the 22-23 season last season in League 2, where it was a 1-0 victory for both home teams on those occasions. And then earlier this season, Rovers ran out 2-1 winners. So yeah, it's difficult to tell on previous history. Obviously, it's leaning towards Gillingham, but we're in pretty decent form. So which one is going to give, history or the form book? We will see. And that takes me on to current form, and I've had to add another column onto this graphic with Rovers getting 10 wins on the bounce, so W's all the way across. It is wonderful to see, but that highlights Gillingham's inconsistencies with no 2 results the same back to back. So their last 10: a defeat, a draw, a defeat, a draw, a win, a draw, a win, a defeat, a win, a defeat. So if that pattern continues, we will not win tomorrow. Hopefully we can give them a double result on that graphic and give them another defeat, but it could be a draw or a win based on the last 10 and no 2 being the same back to back. Not good. But on Donny, I have just run out of things to say about us at the minute. 10 wins on the bounce, it's absolutely unheard of. We've matched the record which was set in 1947, and we have a chance of beating that long-standing record, 77 years, at Gillingham tomorrow. But as we've seen, history doesn't really bode well for the Rovers, and Gillingham's current form doesn't bode well for the Rovers in terms of not getting 2 results the same on the bounce. But a superb performance midweek, so I think we can hope and believe and trust that the Rovers are going to do it tomorrow. We ran out comfortable 4-1 winners down at Colchester, and we looked like we had more gears to go into. So yeah, I'm optimistic going into tomorrow. The connection, though, got to mention this, between the club, the staff, the players and the fans is absolutely phenomenal at the moment, and we're looking like we are heading into the playoffs with some real true momentum both on and off the field. A lot needs to go wrong tomorrow. If we lose, Crawley needs to win, Barrow needs to beat Mansfield, and Crewe need to draw against Colchester, who also need a draw to survive. So I think nailed on, that one's going to be a draw. So eyes will be on Barrow and Crawley if Rovers go down in this game. So hopefully that's not the case. We can do the business. All we need is a point. Be nice to get all 3 and break that long-standing record. But it's going to be a tough game, although Gillingham should be on the beach. And on to Gillingham, it was a decent start to their campaign. It saw them setting the pace at points at this season, and they continued to stay kind of up and in around the playoff picture. And for me, from an outsider looking in, I thought it was a really strange decision to get rid of Neil Harris when Gillingham were in such a good position, and he's shown that he's a decent manager. He's gone to Millwall, and it looks like they're surviving in the Championship. So yeah, really strange decision to part ways with him, and I think it's just kind of derailed the season a little bit. Maybe I could be wrong. If you think I am, get it in the comments down below. But they just seem to have got tailed off a little bit into a back end season slump, inconsistent form, and it's seen them drop away from the playoff picture ultimately. It's found them with nothing to play for in the final day of the season, when up to a couple of weeks ago there was still an outside chance of this being a really big game tomorrow. But as it is, hopefully they are on the beach, and it's an easy 3 points for the Rovers. I can't see it though. But for me, it's clear to see where the issues have been this season for Gillingham. They've got the second worst attack, only scoring 44 goals all season, which is one ahead of Forest Green Rovers, who are currently sitting 24th on 43 goals. But defensively, they've been absolutely solid. One of the best defences in the league, and that shows that they're almost there. A couple of additions in the summer, and I think Gillingham could be one to watch next season if they get those right players in an attacking midfield kind of creative role, and the attackers. If they can find the goals and keep the defence solid, then that's a recipe for a positive season next season. On to player profile. So for this one, I've gone with Tom Anderson, centre back, 30 years old at Doncaster, and I've gone with Tom because he's just had such a resurgence over the past few months. He was written off by many, including myself, because his performances just didn't match up to what we've seen in the past. We've seen how capable he is as a player, and I think we've had some of his best seasons a few years back until that injury at Fleetwood, and then since then he just seemed a shadow of the player he used to be. But I think alongside Richard Wood, they're just forging a real formidable partnership at the back, and I think any League Two team looking at those two, along with Maxwell and Sterry on the wings, are not looking forward to facing that defence. So a struggling attack against a decent Donny defence at the minute, I can't call it. You never know on the final day. And on the midweek game, absolute worldie of a finish from Tom, to set us on his way to that 4-1 victory. The third goal dinked over, Tom's volleyed it, and yeah, I don't think the keeper will want to see it again, but in Tom's mind it'll be an absolute worldie of a finish. Moving on to the opponents one to watch. So as I said at the start of the video, you know your club much better than I do, so if there's somebody else that we should be mentioning here, get them in the comments down below. But I've gone with Timothy Dieng, 32 years old, defensive midfielder, and I've gone with Timothy because he's scored 5 goals, assisted 2, and we've mentioned already the defensive solidity that Gillingham have got, and kind of that foundation that they've been able to build on and have an half decent season. It's just lacking up front, but as a defensive midfielder, scoring 5, assisting 2 in a team which has only scored 44, I think should be highlighted. A very, very good player. And I think he is part of the reason why they're so good defensively as well, just protecting that back four in the pocket in between them and the midfield. And bags of experience across different divisions, 390 appearances, 40 goals, 14 assists. Yeah, I think if we can get at him and try and get around him, who knows, we could come away with a point, hopefully all 3. But for me, one to watch, Timothy Dieng. Moving on to the predicted team lineup. So this is thanks to FanHub. If you've not downloaded the app yet, please go ahead and do so. Plenty of features to get your teeth stuck into. I'm sure they'll be adding more into next season. But I've gone unchanged from Tuesday night. Loads Tyler in goal, Sterry, Anderson, Wood and Maxwell as the back 4. Bailey, Craig and Biggins as the midfield 3, with the front 3 of Adelaken, Molyneux and Joe Ironside. On to the Predictions League table. So if you're new to this, me and the family predict the scoreline for every single league game. If we get it spot on, it's 3 points. If we get the outcome of the game right but not the scoreline, it's 1. If we get it completely wrong, it's no points. And I went with my 2-1, as I just can't bear to think that I'm jinxing it. My dad went with the Desmond on Tuesday night, he went with the 2-2. But Chris and Max both consistent with their predictions as well. They are confident, they went with wins, but neither got the scoreline right. Neither went with 4-1. I think Chris went with 3-1, Max went with 2-0. So Chris pulls it within 2 points on the final day of the season. I am top on 32 points, Chris in second on 30, Max in third on 27, Dad in fourth on 12. So for me not to win the trophy, Chris needs to get the scoreline spot on tomorrow. We will see. I will post it on Twitter what the final predictions are. Irrespective of playoffs, this is a 46 game table. We're not having any playoff predictions. It ends tomorrow. So I could have it, but it's very, very close, just like the playoff picture is. And that takes me on to my score prediction. I think anybody who's watched the channel for a short while, the last couple of weeks, couple of months, you'll know that I've become a little bit superstitious. Superstitious, I think it is. Since this run started, I believe it will end. Every run ends at some point, and I've gone with a 2-1 defeat every single time, and we've won. So I've got to stick with that. Gillingham 2, Doncaster 1. The run will end at some point. I hope it's not tomorrow. I hope we do the business and we're in the playoffs. But a run will end at some point. I'm going to go with it tomorrow. And that's where I'm going to leave the final match preview of the season. If you've enjoyed it, stick a big thumbs up on it for us, please. Comments in the section down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.